Been on a stag do this weekend.
Oh, very nice.
It's my third ever stag do.
Okay. How many have I been to? I think I've been to 3 as well.
Nice. Is that including sten do's?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Few interesting tidbits.
Oh, yeah.
We've been...
Sounds raucous.
Oh, yeah. It was the first time, not the first time ever, but, well, maybe ever. So I ended up having several quite in-depth conversations about football.
Right.
With my friend Kieran, who listens to the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Regular listener.
And it was the first time we've sort of blurred the line between podcast and just having a normal chat, which did involve Kieran occasionally being like, oh, and then I heard this thing on a podcast. And I would be like, yeah, I said it on a podcast. Like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. You did say that. But, you know, it wasn't... He offered some good points. He asked us if we could name our top 5 United players ever.
I think we should do that. Us, well, something like that at some point. Maybe on an off week. Maybe not today.
I mean, every week's off week. No, but, yeah, possibly. But no, it was great. It was a good weekend. Good for Reds in the group. Couple of Liverpool fans.
The groom was a Liverpool fan, wasn't
he? He is, yeah,
which
is a shame. We watched the Liverpool match on the Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
Annoyingly, they just won and played all right.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
But you wouldn't want it to ruin his stag do.
No. We had other plans in place to ruin his stag do.
Yeah.
We had a nice 11-leg bet on that game.
All right.
My leg held up. I was very happy. Although I was risky, because the issue with a bet of that nature is it's the whole point of it is to keep you interested in the game.
Yeah.
For people who aren't that bothered. But I picked a half-time bet, which meant that I could have ruined the bet for everyone at half-time.
Yeah.
Well, I picked
that
draw
needs to come in, really.
Yeah, I picked draw at half-time, and it was. Somebody picked 2 bookings for Wolves in both halves, and that didn't come in.
Oh.
So the bet was over at half-time. But it was okay.
That's a
Had a
shame.
nice time. And then Saturday we watched the rugby.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It is a shame.
So that's how you ruined the stag do.
No, well, Sam likes the rugby, apparently.
But England lost.
England did lose. But fortunately for Sam, he was dressed as an Italy fan, so it worked well.
Classic.
Yeah. But he wasn't dressed like an actual Italy
Italy
fan
rugby
who would
fan.
exist because he had a dress on.
Oh, right.
But a nice Italy blue dress.
Okay.
Italy flags painted on the face. Scrum cap on.
Yes.
And he had to hold a rugby ball all day. And if he lost it, then he had to drink a pint.
To go back to your first point, it must be a curse that all podcasters suffer where every conversation they have about football, it bleeds into what they've just talked about.
Yeah. I expect so. I mean, is it maybe when you are, for most podcasters, they talk to a wider variety of people and also they speak to people in the industry.
Yeah.
They won't listen to the podcasts in order to be able to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Whereas we know everyone who listens to this and only talk to those people about football.
Yeah. Any conversation we have about football is likely to be with someone who's heard the podcast.
Yeah.
But Kieran's, big fan.
He is.
Not just a passing listener.
No. So it was good for him to have a sort of live episode.
Yeah.
Which is just being friends with me.
Yeah. Without the funny one though. So.
Yeah, true. It was quite dry.
But we should, I think at some point we should start having some guests on. We know a lot of United fans.
We do.
Who can contribute to the discourse.
That will mean fewer listeners because the guests...
Well, they could listen back to the one
they could listen back.
I mean, one fewer listener every time there's a guest on.
I know.
Half our listening figures. But maybe at some point.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yes.
For that in the future.
Might have to get a chair. Might be a bit cozy on it.
We're all friends.
We are.
We're literally. We're friends with everyone who listens.
Yeah. Hello and welcome back to Red Army Reaction.
Hello.
Where United have had another Game 3 weekend, but thankfully we played last Wednesday, so we can talk about that instead.
Yeah.
Although I'd rather we had another subsequent game to talk about. But yeah, we'll be talking about the Newcastle game, what it might mean for Michael Carrick's future, and what certain ex-United players might think about that. we'll also be talking about the weekend's FA Cup results.
Yep.
The upcoming Champions League quarterfinals.
Nice.
And maybe who might take home some of these trophies. So we know who won't be.
Yes.
And looking ahead to United's next game against Villa as well.
Villa.
Yes, that's how they talk down there.
It is, yeah.
So we should probably,
Yeah.
without further ado, get on with it.
Did you watch the match?
I did. I wish I could say that I didn't, but I did.
Yep. I watched it also.
It was bad.
Yeah. Basically, from start to finish, we didn't really get out of second gear, which is often said after a win.
Yeah.
But we needed to get out of second gear.
We did.
Because there was a horse with 3 legs that was running faster than us.
Yeah.
It's a confusing metaphor.
It is, yeah. Horses don't have gears. But cars do have horsepower.
Yeah, true. Did you know, when the guy who invented horsepower worked it out, like the power of a horse equivalent, and then downscaled it to like 0.4 of that number to make engines seem more impressive.
Oh, right.
So he worked it out that the first engine was like 1.5 horses. And he was like, I'm never going to sell this.
Yeah.
So he made horsepower smaller so that he could be like, this has the 8 horsepower. And be like, wow, a power of 8 horses. But it really had the power of like less than 2.
Right, so 1 horsepower isn't...
A horse has like 0.4 horsepower, I think.
Okay. I've never really understood horsepower. What does it actually mean?
I think it's a measure of... It's not the same as torque, but it's similar to torque. It's like the amount of energy that the engine can transfer to the wheels.
Right. Okay.
That's what power is, but it's just a unit of power that is related to horses, but not really.
Right.
This is more interesting than the game.
Yeah. Should we horsepower a bit more about the game? Sorry, I always get horsepower and torque mixed up.
Rubbish.
Feel free to cut that out.
No, I'm going to leave it in. It's on your head, be it.
Yeah, on a horse's head, be it. Yeah, no, do cut that do cut that one out, please. Yeah, so we never really got going, to be honest.
No, we really struggled.
Nothing really happened for quite a while in the game. It was quite a dull game. Newcastle weren't playing amazingly, but they were playing better than us, and they had a foothold in the game from much earlier than us.
Yeah, yeah.
And we might talk about more about this later on, but that performance, that result has been coming, I think, from our last few performances, because we didn't start really any worse in this game than we have in the last couple of games.
No, and I think Newcastle are better than West Ham and Tottenham and Palace
and Everton.
Well,
they're probably about as good as Everton.
Yeah, they're not amazing. They're better on the ball than Everton are. They're about as might not be as good defensively, but they have more weapons with which to hurt us. And just real lack of control was, I think, United's problem, which was then worse against 10 men because there's so much more expectation of control against 10 men.
Yeah. Should we talk about the red card?
Yeah. Well, we could talk about the lack of red card
for Dan Burn. Yeah.
Now, we can speak as experts in this field.
As experts in being really tall.
Massive, lanky, bad footballers.
Whose elbows are at head height for a lot of people.
Yeah. Dan Burn's not a bad footballer. But...
Not compared to us.
Yeah. He's suffering to be included in that conversation. Yeah. An excuse was given that he just sort of throws his elbow in the way that any player would throw their elbow.
Just jostling for possession.
But it contacts with Luke Shaw's head because he's 6 inches taller than Luke Shaw.
Yeah, and that's where his elbows are.
Yeah. And I don't think that's really a good excuse.
No, because he has a little one, so he clearly knows, Luke Shaw's head's there.
Yeah.
And then he does the big proper one.
Yeah, like if you slide tackle and you catch someone's ankle, there's not the excuse of, if his leg was shorter, he would have missed him completely. So it's... It's not.
You have to account for that.
Yeah, it's your body. It's your responsibility.
Yeah.
It was dodgy. But, Newcastle seem to have this sort of Don Revie-esque energy about them, which is, it's Newcastle, that's how they play. So they're just not really held to the same standard as other teams.
Yeah.
Like, Joe Linton gets... like this, a comparable number of bookings to other midfielders, despite committing like 12 times as many fouls as other midfielders do.
And he could have easily had 2 yellows in that game.
Which, either of those would have probably been a more justified red card than the red card. I think the red card itself was quite harsh.
Yeah, it was clearly not a penalty for me. And
Yeah,
at first I thought the referee got his spot on by not giving a penalty because
yeah.
Lemons, it looked from the wide angle like he'd brought him down, but then when you look at it, Ramsey kicks the ball past him and he pulls his arms away and doesn't bring him down. But I think it is harsh to book someone for diving for that.
Yeah, and he didn't give a dive. He gave the goal kick.
Oh, right. That's weird.
Yeah,
is that allowed?
I don't know. We gave the goal kick and then booked him for simulation.
Yeah.
He might have then changed it to a free kick, but he definitely gave the goal kick initially and then decided to book him for simulation.
Might have thought, oh well, actually, that was a dive. That wasn't just no penalty.
Yeah.
So I'll have to change my decision.
Yeah, and it was because there's very little point in diving with VAR.
Yeah.
It hasn't completely eradicated diving,
No.
as it might have, but there is very little point in doing it. And there's certainly very little point in going down and not claiming a penalty at all, just sort of going to your knees and then getting back up.
He did claim a penalty a little bit. He looked at the ref a bit like...
Yeah, he wasn't fully sort of pleading for it.
No.
And he didn't go down in a particularly theatrical way, which we have seen levelled at some players.
He did, which always looks worse, although it shouldn't mean it can't be a foul. He did take a step in between the would-be foul and then going down, which always makes it look like less of a foul, but it doesn't mean it isn't a foul because you could be trying to stay up on your feet and then you can't manage it.
Yeah, so I think a red for that was harsh, but I don't think they were unlucky to be down to 10 men.
Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. And it wasn't a penalty. Lemons didn't really do a lot wrong, but there is a grey area. Some people seem to think there isn't. And if you're not giving a penalty, why aren't you booking him for diving? But there is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Where it's not a dive, but also not a penalty.
Yeah. There is even a world where there's contact and
it's not a foul.
Penalty.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not enough contact to bring someone down. I think something that VAR has put into people's minds is that contact is a foul. Also, sort of, in that situation, where if you don't touch the ball but you touch the man, it's a foul.
Well, there's contact.
And if you touch the ball in any way, it's definitely not a foul.
Yeah, there are a few of them with VAR where they get wiped out in the box, and then VAR zooms in. No, he gets a little touch on the ball. And it's like, well, does he win the ball?
Yeah.
He just kicks the ball a little bit before fouling the man.
Yeah.
But that seems to just discredit it from being a foul.
I've seen examples where it's like they've got a toe on the ball, but without even really deflecting the path of the ball.
Yeah.
Or certainly not out of the control of the player who has the control.
Yeah.
And then brought the player down, but it's not given because... but if they hadn't brought the player down, they hadn't done enough to win the ball.
Yeah. If they would have just done that, the player would have still had the ball.
So it's a tough one for Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah,
but I think Newcastle couldn't have too many complaints given the ones that had gone before.
Yeah, and then just like when Everton went down to 10 men against United, they managed to get their noses in front.
Yeah.
Through a penalty that absolutely was a penalty. As
Yeah.
soon as I saw it back, he's just tripped over in the box. It's quite a straightforward one for the ref.
Yeah, it's not the first time Bruno's done something like that.
Yeah.
He did it against Barcelona under Erik ten Hag.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Barcelona's goal in that game was at Old Trafford was a penalty.
He gave... Oh, go on.
Bruno just sort of... I don't know, he sort of forgets where he is a little bit on the pitch and he sort of tries to do a tackle that in midfield you think, he didn't win the ball, but the player didn't get away from him and, it's maybe a good foul to give away, but he just still does that in the box. And it's like, well, you've achieved nothing.
He did it against Brighton as well a few years ago.
Yeah.
In the game where Mopai scored a Panenka and then handballed it in the last minute. Oh, after the final whistle, we got the penalty.
Yeah.
Fernandez gave away the penalty for that, where he just sort of, like you say, was just sort of tracking back. And I think he's probably, because he plays like this, he's trying really hard and probably tries a bit too hard in his tracking back and ends up fouling the player.
Yeah, and it meant that they're never penalties that it's like if you don't foul them, it's going to be a good chance anyway. It turns a sort of half chance of nothing into a almost guaranteed goal.
Yeah,
which is the worst type of penalty to give away. If you give away a penalty like the Jimenez one against Fulham, where it's like gave away a penalty, but it was your actions were justified in the pursuit of stopping a really good chance.
Yeah.
Whereas this was just the worst kind of penalty.
Yeah, he just got into the box and there was another player right in front of him. Yeah. Mazraoui was there. And yeah,
So really frustrating. Good penalty. Anthony Gordon's got a
fine penalty straight down the middle.
he's got a good record. Anthony Gordon,
He is, and
solid player.
Lemons is yet to save a penalty for United, which I'm not judging him for. It's really hard to save penalties, and some very good goalkeepers have poor records. But it'd be nice to see him save one.
It would, yeah. It basically is a free hit for a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
But it's shootouts are more important.
Yeah.
Because you watch so many back to back, you can spot the really annoying patterns. Where if you say you let in 4 penalties in a season, it doesn't matter if you always do the
if
same
you went
thing.
the same way for all 4 of them.
But as we saw with De Gea and Onana in Bilbao.
No,
not Bilbao.
I can't
That was
remember
the
where
most
that
recent
was.
one.
It was
De Gea
against Villarreal.
Villarreal, and Onana against Grimsby,
Yeah,
making the same mistake on every penalty 11 times in a row is really noticeable.
yeah, absolutely.
So, in the normal pursuit of being a goalkeeper, not saving penalties is not really an issue.
Yeah,
So, fair enough. We got to 1-0, and it was looking like I was worried that we'd basically given Newcastle exactly what they wanted. When you go down to 10 men, getting a goal is like, right, that's the one thing that means you can't just defend it the whole time.
yeah,
And I was, you worry at that point if it stays, if it stays 1-0 to them, how frustrating it gets for United.
yeah. Like against Everton, which was an incredibly frustrating game.
But we got what we needed. We got a goal back.
Yeah,
Which was absolutely what was, you can't let that go on for too long.
yeah. I suppose they still at 1-1, they have something to hold on to because you'd take a draw with 10 men. I think we should know this already, but it seems like for us it's quite important to get the next goal when the opposition goes down to 10, because then they have to come out at you, and then you can get in behind them and score again.
Yeah, and it was a good goal. Good to see.
Pretty good.
Another great Casemiro header.
Yeah, good.
Tremendous
Another assist
assist.
for Fernandes. Casemiro is just ridiculously good at getting on the end of free kicks.
Yeah,
He's inconsistent in how well he does with the header, but when he gets on the end of enough of them, some of them are really easy.
Yeah, he probably scores like 1 in 3, maybe 1 in 4 that he actually gets his head to.
Yeah.
And there's some really noticeable misses in there. Like, because he's often 3 yards out with a free header.
Yeah.
And so to miss 3 out of 4 of them is quite egregious, but he's so good at getting his head on them that you sort of keep going for it.
Yeah,
because
he keeps scoring.
6 goals for the season, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how many of them headers, but quite a few.
I think maybe all 6.
He had
5.
He had one against Brighton at home in the league that was a deflected shot with his foot.
Oh yeah, nice.
But that might be the only one that's not a header.
Certainly a high percentage. And all of the headers assisted by Fernandes.
I mean, nearly all of our headers are assisted by Fernandes, I'd say.
So yeah, great goal. Good to get a goal back.
Just before half time as
Great
well,
time to
because
score.
Newcastle would have loved to get in at half time 1-0 up with 10 men, knowing exactly what they've got to do in the second half is just hold on to that.
Yeah.
And we stopped them from doing that, which was really good to see, which is what we didn't manage to do against Everton.
Yeah. And then the pattern of the game didn't go where it should have done.
No.
It was way too open and way too even, given they only had 10 men. We just couldn't control the game at all.
Couldn't get a grip on it at all. Newcastle didn't sit back and try and hold on to 1-1, which I don't know if that worked in our favour or not, but either way, we should be able to force home the man advantage for 45 minutes.
We should be dictating the pattern of the rest of that game.
Not Newcastle.
Newcastle were much more equipped to set the tempo and keep the ball and try and do specific things to hurt us. Yeah,
they really came at us, and they didn't create a lot of chances, but they really worked hard and stopped us from doing much, really. I think they still would have been happy with a 1-1 probably.
Yeah.
But they didn't look like they were sitting back and trying to defend. I don't know, like I say, I don't know if we would have done any better if they did, because we just didn't really turn up in the game.
Yeah. And basically all of the boxes that made for a bad evening were checked. I think I said to Kieran, actually, I said, that's what it looks like when everybody has a bad night.
Yeah.
Like everybody, all of the players who were out there, the subs coming on, were poor. The ref had a poor night. The manager got it wrong, I think. I think his starting 11 was wrong. I think his subs were poor. Didn't affect the game in the right way. And it showed issues in the way we've been training as well, and the weaknesses that still exist within our game model. That just everything was exposed, and everyone, as I said, it's what happens when everyone shits the bed.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
Yeah. We just never really looked like taking the lead at 1-1. Xerxes had a good shot from outside the box.
Yeah.
It was well saved.
Ramsdale did have a good game.
He did have a good
made
game,
2 or 3 really good saves.
Yeah. Mainu had a good save from Mainu as well.
Yeah.
But these were good shots, but not good chances really from United.
No, we should have been reliably creating good chances against 10 men, and we just weren't. We were creating maybe 1 or 2 decent chances, and then 1 or 2 long shots over the space of 50 minutes against 10 men.
Yeah,
that's not what you want to see.
Not good enough. It was far too reminiscent of the Everton game at home.
Yeah, but Newcastle were much better than Everton were in that game.
Yeah, and there were a lot of criticisms levelled at Amorim in that game for still playing the exact same way against 10 men. And I don't think all of those are still true, because we didn't play 3 at the back for this game. But still, it looked like we didn't look at any point like we had a man advantage.
No, I think one of the criticisms levelled against Amorim was that there was no desperation to win the game or to salvage something from the game when we were getting nothing from the game.
Yeah, we were losing that game, which is different, I suppose.
Yeah, Carrick has a bit more of an excuse to hold a little bit back because we weren't losing. However, what you can't then do is lose anyway.
The game, yeah.
It was a classic case for me of watching on a slightly delayed stream, and we had the ball, phone buzzed, and I didn't check it, and I was like, I bet that could be us having scored here. And then a minute goes past, we haven't scored, and then a break happens, and I realised what had happened.
Yeah.
A really good goal for William Asula. You can't take too much away from him.
It was a great goal from him. Malacia at full-back was non-existent.
Yeah.
You might as well have a traffic cone trying to get the ball off him.
Yes.
Which helps. But it was a brilliant finish.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
curled it round Maguire perfectly, and Lamans had no chance.
Yeah. One of those where, in the course of the game, the view should be, we'd love to win it. We absolutely cannot lose it.
Yeah.
For that specific moment, it should be, I'd love to win the ball back. I absolutely cannot let him pass me.
Yeah.
If I can't win the ball back, I can't let him just skip away from me. And Malacia did it twice. He could have fouled him in their half. He could have fouled him on the edge of the box. Both times he chose to not try and do that. Mainly, probably because he's very rusty and has played 2 games in 2 years.
It's hard to be harsh on Malacia. It's not really his fault.
No.
He's lost a lot of his career, and I think he shouldn't be playing for United at this point. He should be playing for a worse team and learning how to play football again. And I think maybe it's difficult because Shaw could only really play an hour, and then we had to bring someone else off towards the end. Mazraoui was already on. Did Mazraoui start the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he had to come off.
Yeah.
So there weren't a lot of options, but for me, I would be at 1-1. I would be attempting not to play Malacia if I could. He could have brought Aiden Heaven on maybe, who I think would have done a better job up against Asula in that moment than Malacia did.
But also, I think, what like you say, what value is gained from putting Malacia in there? There's no long term. There's a little bit of value for Malacia because he can say, I've played recently and it wasn't awful.
Yeah, but even if he plays really well, he's not going to play anymore when he doesn't need to.
And I think it's, in terms of value, bringing a young player on there in a harsh environment, a difficult environment, under a lot, but bringing a young player on there has a lot more obvious benefit and potential upside, and you can also limit the downside because there's an inherent goodwill and an inherent sort of leniency.
You're trying to do
players.
The right thing.
If that was a player on his debut, no one would be saying, why the hell has he brought that guy on? He should have brought Malacia on instead.
No.
But with Malacia coming on, you think, well, if you put...
What's the point of bringing Malacia on?
What's the point of bringing Malacia on? If you put a kid in, they're often very energetic and very willing to do things, and glad to be there. I'm sure Molassi's glad to be there, but not for the same reason.
Yeah, like how a competition winner would be glad to be there.
So I think that was a poor decision from Carrick. I think there's very little value in playing Agate as well. I think Agate is I think we have good midfield prospects who are much more deserving of a chance in that team than Agate is. I think Tyler Fletcher would have been. I don't think he's worse on the ball, even as inexperienced as he is. I don't think he would have less value on the ball.
Yeah.
And the upside there is much more plain to see.
Yeah,
I think everyone expects Agate to leave in the summer. I don't think the 20 minutes he's going to get in 3 or 4 games between now and the end of the season is going to materially move the market on Agate. I think he's a known entity.
Yeah, and it's probably more likely to move the market the wrong way.
Because we know he's crap.
Yeah.
And demonstrating him being crap is bad for business.
Yeah.
So I think those are a couple of poor decisions from Carrick. And I'd love something that if he is, he is often complimented for his sort of, being having the United DNA.
Yeah, with the risk taking. Playing young players.
I think that is a thing he could demonstrate better.
Yeah, certainly in that game.
He's not Alex Ferguson, but Alex Ferguson would wash his hands of players very easily and be willing to play inexperienced players ahead of them if he thought that was either good value. It was always good value for the inexperienced player, but sometimes it can reinvigorate the senior player as well. Because I think, I'm not safe here. He's willing to play. He's willing. Somebody who's not even got a minute. We'd rather play him over me. I either need to buck up or move on.
Yeah.
Whereas Agate, he'd probably be quite willing to stay on his current wage, on his current minutes.
Playing time, yeah.
If we play a lot more games next season, he'd probably be thinking,
I'm happy to stick around, yeah.
So I think he could have done better there, Carrick.
Yeah, it was a brilliant finish, but we sort of allowed him to create that chance.
Yeah.
And they always seemed the more likely to get the winner, which is a poor indictment on United.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Did you see someone dug up an old tweet from Man United from like 2015 saying congratulations to William Asula for winning today's Man United Soccer Skills Challenge or something?
Yeah. Odd one.
Yeah, it's weird how these things work out.
Yeah, he's had an odd sort of start to his career, Asula. Newcastle paid a decent fee for him, and he's not the youngest player. He's come through, he's developing a little later, but he's clearly got great raw attributes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of upside there for that sort of value of transfer, which is a sort of a value of transfer that United don't really bother with. It's sort of a player who could go from being a £2 or £3 million player to a £20 or £30 million player.
Yeah.
We'll often sign players who could be a £100 million player, but we don't really see the value in getting a sort of
mid-range
return on a player.
Yeah. We don't flip players like that.
Newcastle could have him for a few years, sell him for 20 million, and they'd be very happy with that deal. Yeah. Whereas if you're not going to become... United aren't really... There's been a few times in the past, I think. There are a few examples you can cling to, but of players who come in, get a bit better, and then leave.
Yeah, they're a good option for us in those few years, but they're never going to be a title-winning player.
Yeah.
Like Dan James.
Yeah.
He's the best example of it we've had. We signed him for 15 and sold him for 25 million, I think. And he was all right,
Yeah. Some people would say that there's absolutely no place for that in the United squad, and that's not what the United squad should be for.
Yeah.
And I think it's tricky.
I understand that argument.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because United is so often, and United fans are so often reevaluating what they think the club is. And, we need to take stock of where we are because we're not a top 6 team anymore.
Yeah.
And then, but we're Man United.
We
should always be as close to winning the league as we can be. And it's sort of proved, I think the league is so volatile that without any signings of any or reevaluating of anything, we've gone from being,
a contender for Europe
to third in the league.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe United aren't miles away and we should be thinking like a big club because we're close enough to winning the league.
Maybe it won't take, a massive rebuild in several years before we're anywhere near winning a title.
Yeah. Maybe we could have a couple of good windows and be third and, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So, I think people like to think that United fans like to think that they're the only one who can see where United are and they know the truth of it, and that's true of probably every football fan, is that their opinion of their club is
right.
gospel because they're the biggest fan and they can see through all the media and the noise.
And it's important to, as a fan, not as I don't think pundits should do this, but you should always defer to fans of that club for the opinion because they watch them every week. They go to the games, they're going to know a lot about their own club.
Really poor day at the office.
Yeah, and like you were saying, 1-1 wouldn't have been a great result because they had 10 men.
Yeah.
But when you look at the results as a whole, we're winning all our home games. A draw away at West Ham and a draw away at Newcastle aren't the worst results in the world.
Yeah.
And given the way we've been playing, to keep that unbeaten run and still those results as a whole would be really good. I think we could have made our peace with losing 1-0, but you can't. Withdrawing 1-0, but you can't lose the game.
No. But again, I think you can go either way with it. You can look at it and say there is a version of history where we lose that game 2-1, even against 10 men, and you think we did ourselves proud there. It's really annoying to, Malacia, no minutes in his legs, lets a player past him, and he puts a worldie in the top corner. And we hammer their goal, and they cling on, and then they manage to steal it at the end. And
sometimes it's just not your day.
It's dreadful, but you think
on another day we would win that.
But I think there are worrying signs from how that game unfolded. The lack of control, the lack of decision, the poor decision making from basically every player at almost every point.
Yeah,
I will say I'm going to caveat that Bruno Fernandes, I think, was trying to make things happen. And
as he always does.
He created like 5 chances in that game because he always does. And on another day, he could have had another 2 assists. There was a great cross in, a couple of headers at the back post that could have easily gone in.
Yeah.
So you can look at it that way and say there's some really worrying trends here. We've not played well. As someone who we might talk about in a second said, we've been crap for 4 games now.
Yeah.
We've scraped through 2 of them to win. We've got a last-minute draw in 1, and we've lost the other one inexplicably. There's worrying signs. But you can also say Carrick's had what's Carrick's record? 6 wins, 2 draws, and a loss.
I think, 6 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss.
Yeah, 6 wins, which from this run of fixtures, pretty good.
It's really good. We're still got more points than anyone else in that time.
Yeah, the 3rd in the league. So
we absolutely would have expected to lose at least 1 game in this first 8.
Yeah.
And Newcastle away looks like a tough fixture on paper.
Yeah, and it is a tough fixture. We've not won there in 5 years. It's a tough place to go.
Newcastle aren't in good form, and on paper, just looking at the form of the 2 teams, the position in the table of the 2 teams, we should be winning.
Yeah.
But Newcastle away can be St James's Park can be a really difficult place to go. They can make it really difficult for you.
Yeah,
and we've certainly found that.
It's a season where anyone can beat anyone.
Yeah,
as we said many times. And if we can remain the team that, if anyone can beat anyone, but we win most of the times, that's fine.
We're doing all right, aren't we?
Yeah, we're doing all right, and you can't be too upset about that. So I think context is important, but also I think there are some worrying trends, and we've got a great opportunity now. Got 11 days between the 2 games, no international break, no real injuries in the squad. So we've got a great opportunity to get onto Carrington, get drilling, and do loads of analysis and loads of and fix specific problems as we've asked them to do in the past, because we've shown that we can play well.
Yeah, we can beat good
teams, but we need to arrest this slide.
Yeah,
and try and get back to blowing teams away a little bit. As we saw, the first few weeks of Carrick Train was very positive and not sort of a fluke.
Yeah, we played really well. We deservedly won.
Yeah,
big games against good sides.
I think this game, more than any, has done the most damage to Carrick's chances.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to bring that up because a lot more questions have been asked of him since that game, and there is, to an extent, of how he responds to that, because every manager's going to have tough games like that, and then it's how you move on from that. But when Carrick was appointed, I think you said you're waiting for him to prove that he can be the United manager.
Yeah.
And then after those first couple of games, you said you're now waiting for him to prove that he can't be the United manager. Has he proven that at all yet?
No, I don't think he's proven he can't, but I think there are things true of this season that won't be true next season. And but he has to, this is the first game we've played where we've played as recently as the opponent has played.
Yeah.
And we looked, we didn't have the advantage of freshness.
Yeah.
And that's looked like it could be an issue, and that's going to be true every week next season.
Yeah. I think you could also flip that and say they're used to playing 2 games a week all the time.
Yeah.
So when we're playing 2 games a week, we'll be used to that, and when we play midweek league games, that'll be fine because we're doing that every week.
Yeah,
and our players can't get that rhythm up like Newcastle's players can.
Yeah, and players have said in the past that it's sometimes more difficult, and I think we are playing too few games. I think it's hurting us how few games we're playing.
Yeah,
but having that freshness has helped us in the past. Then where we won't have that, we'll have to find other ways of being better than teams.
Yeah.
And like we said, the games where we've had the ball and we've been or expected to have the ball, we've not been able to press that advantage as much. I think I'm still in the camp that he's shown enough, and I have enough faith that I would expect him to do a good job if he were to get the job.
Okay.
But I think we're still very much in we won't be able to know until the end of the season.
Yeah.
But I do think the Villa game is a huge opportunity for them to prove once again that they can prepare for a game and they can fix problems that everyone can see.
Yeah, definitely.
That was one of Amarim's biggest faults, was all of the media, all of the fans, all of the opposition coaches could see what was wrong with the team, but the one person who's tasked with fixing it couldn't.
Yeah, and he wouldn't do anything to fix all these problems that we can all see.
Yeah. So while I don't think there's as obvious an issue, I think it's a bit more complex. Not that it's Amarim's system wasn't complex and there weren't complicated problems going on, multi-level, intersectional problems, but most people could see quick wins. I don't think there's too many quick wins available for this to
No, he's won them all.
Yeah.
Already.
So, I think it's a challenge, and a challenge that I have confidence that they can rise to.
Yeah. I think after the first few games, it seemed like we might get to the point where Carrick was the overwhelming candidate, and it would be a case of we need to give it to Carrick. He's doing really well.
Yeah.
Whereas I think now the best case scenario is he's one of the candidates, and we weigh him up against the other people who are available.
Yeah.
It's not a case, some people might say it should be, but I don't think it's a case where we can just pick which manager in world football we want and we're Man United and we can get them. We have to be realistic about who's available, and Carrick definitely will be.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be interviewed, and on his current evidence, he could get the job. He could be the best man for the job, but I don't think we're going to get to a point now where he's overwhelmingly the man for the job.
Yeah, something I'd like to see, which won't happen. It never happens in English football. It sort of by default it happens in other countries, and they're sort of just part of the football furniture. But never has been here. Is I would like to see an executive at the press conference for the unveiling of the new manager, and I would like to see them take questions from the press of what was your process, how did you land on this candidate? Because we all know they're going to go into a bunker and they're going to have a whiteboard with 5 names on it. It's going to say Carrick. It's going to say Luis Enrique.
Certain details about when we've met this person or this person will leak in the press.
I would like Wilcox, maybe even if it's sort of in a mixed zone, before a game on the preseason tour, even if it's 1 or 2 minutes, and not just lip service, not just Carrick's the right man for the job. We're really happy with the decision we made.
Because they say that in the press release.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to actually hear them say something meaningful.
Have a back and forth with a journalist who can interrogate those and say, because everyone's going to have pros and cons. We've said it's been true for a while, the sort of state of the managerial landscape is such that there isn't a candidate who is all pros.
No.
When you look at the last 2 big hires of for English football. The cons in the Guardiola column was that he'd only won one Champions League.
Yeah, and he'd only managed in Spain. Well, no,
Yeah,
he
and
managed in Germany. Yeah. No.
The cons that he needs really good players,
Yeah.
which is true of a lot of managers. The cons in the Klopp column were that he'd only managed in Germany, but had sort of upended the hegemony of German football.
And his last season at Dortmund was really bad.
Was
completely went off the rails.
There are no managers for whom the caveats are so few.
No.
So it's going to be a case of Carrick's got most of his managerial career has been in the Championship. He's had a varying level, a degree of success as a United manager, which is something that none of the other candidates will have.
Yeah.
But we don't know what that degree will be. He will not cost as much as the others. He's already been doing the job for 6 months and he's available immediately. There are some good cons. There are some good pros in there. He loves United. The fans love him. He's young and he's motivated, and there's lots of cons.
Knows the club. He's not overawed by the task of Man United.
And that'll be weighed up against the other candidates.
That,
we'll have to say. I think we're firmly in the position now where we won't know until the end of the season.
Yeah.
And it would be insane to make a decision before the end of the season. I think it was insane to make a decision before the end of the season with Solskjaer as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think this will be true to an extent this season, but less so. Maybe because the structure, the hierarchy is more firmly in place now, but players in that team wanted some stability. They were playing really well under Solskjaer. We had quite a few players whose contracts were expiring.
Yeah.
And and I think we will run into this problem maybe a little bit. Hopefully we can convince them that this club is the place to be. We will get the right manager.
Yeah.
But I think we maybe jumped the gun, but it was a case of we can say now we've got our manager, this is the right man for the job. So players can come to us and sign new contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be less true this summer.
Yeah.
I think Casemiro has decided he's not staying no matter what.
Yeah.
Maguire, I think, will end up staying either way.
I think he will.
I think he'll sign another year at least, maybe a year and an option for less money.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think maybe the Fernandes transfer, but I think they can probably sell him either way on either the manager, this Carrick staying or a new manager. I think they could probably sell him, and it will come down to his personal decision.
Yeah.
Either way. So I think they will absolutely wait till the end of the season, and I think it's absolutely
the right thing to do. Yeah, because other managers could become available, whether via being sacked or leaving the clubs that they're at for reasons we can't foresee, that would completely change the options
landscape
that we've got on the table.
And even the landscape now is completely different to the landscape when we sacked Amorim. If you look at stocks in Oliver Glasner, I think they've gone through the floor.
Yeah.
I think Iraola's card has been marked a little bit.
Yeah, it's probably not as plummeted as much as Glasner, but he's probably less likely than he was at the time.
I think maybe it was the writing was already on the wall a little bit when Amorim went, but I think the notion of a Thomas Frank-esque hire has taken a big hit.
Yeah, definitely.
So, the landscape changes all the time, and the more evidence you can give yourself to make the right decision, the better.
Yeah, and the end of the season is the best time to assess the landscape.
Yeah, definitely.
But even looking at appointment that most people would agree was very good appointment in the last few years, one of the big ones was Arteta, and there was a massive caveat against him that he'd never managed the club before. He just put the cones out for Guardiola. Yeah. And I think most people would say that was a good appointment. Yeah. He's done a good job. So I'm glad. I don't envy them having to make the decision. And I've not... Maybe there was a time where I would have said Carrick, but currently I'm not really endorsing anyone to be the United manager. No. I don't know.
No, we always said, even when we'd won the first four, that we always said we should wait until the end of the season. At no point, we didn't put the contract on the table. No, and let him write whatever numbers he wants on it. So we've maintained our position. I think it's the right one. Yeah, keeping our powder dry. Yeah. Don't want to embarrass ourselves, No. I don't think when we went quite early on believing Amorim should be sacked, I think that looks like an alright opinion in hindsight. Yes. So we've done well on that one. One of our constant gripes is with the United Commentariat,
Yeah.
the former Players Association.
One particular member whose punditry I have decreasingly little respect for, or decreasingly much respect for.
No, decreasingly little.
But surely that means it's getting less little.
No, I think it's little and it's decreasing.
I don't think that.
Decreasingly.
Of a decreasing
You
amount.
can't be increasingly small.
Yeah, if you're increasingly small, that means you're getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Your smallness is increasing.
Okay. So increasingly little respect for.
Yes. I don't like that though. I don't know
Right.
what the phrase I'm looking for is.
Less and less?
Yeah, I have less and less respect for Paul Scholes' opinions on football. Obviously, he was a very good player. I do think his playing career has been over mythologized at times.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call him overrated.
No, there's that poster of, I think, mostly fake quotes
Yeah.
about every footballer who ever existed saying that he's the best player who ever played.
Yeah. He was a very good player for United. Obviously, United legend, won 11 Premier League titles. But I just don't agree with any of his opinions about United. And he just seems so miserable when it comes to United and reluctant to give us any kind of praise.
Yeah. What did he say this time?
He said Carrick's clearly got something special because United have been crap for the last 4 games. And then he put Tonali and a heart emoji because he thinks Tonali's really good. That's fine. He can think that Tonali is quite good. But what's he doing?
I know.
He's a professional. He's employed by fewer broadcasters than he used to be to talk about football, to talk about United. And that's like what a fan would do, what someone's dad would say about United.
Yeah.
And he is still a United fan, but
not that people's dads are incapable of having valid opinions.
well, I mean, dads generally about football opinions. There's the whole Yadar thing.
Yeah.
And I don't. I'm sort of fed up of him.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
mouthing off about United.
I think my theory that I came to this weekend is, so he is being picked by fewer and fewer broadcasters.
Yeah.
I don't think he's struggling financially.
No.
But I think there's something to be said for the class of United players who it's often made quite clear and publicised heavily that Gary Neville didn't even have an agent. Just signed for United, take the wage. He
wasn't interested in
wasn't
any
interested
offers.
in chasing the money. Wasn't interested in any of this. Who is now at the point of his life when he's not going to keep working forever. Scholes is the same. Didn't tout his services around. Was always only ever going to sign for United.
Yeah.
Who may be finding their employment opportunities limited are after,
making up that money that they've never earned.
They never earned. Career. Whereas a player who famously had an excellent agent, who was often courting other clubs and chasing the bag, as Jermaine Genius would have put it, Wayne Rooney, his media appearances are fine. He turns up for an hour. He doesn't really care what people, he doesn't say ridiculous things.
Yeah.
He doesn't, he's not really clippable on social media.
I quite like Rooney as a pundit. I think he's refreshing.
Yeah.
Oh, there are people, and some of them have got a point about he's not very articulate and he struggles to get his words out at times. But I do think he's been a really good voice in punditry.
I do think he's a little dry. And Sam, who was over this weekend, watched a clip of his online and was like, that's what they chose for the clip. What does he say for the other 47 and a half minutes?
That's the best bit.
That's the best bit. He's a little dry. But, he was an interesting player and he's an interesting pundit.
He's got a lot of good stories, a lot of good experience.
And he's not desperately trying to remain relevant because he, did try being a manager for a bit, wasn't great, was fine.
Yeah.
Now he's sort of happy being a pundit, and he's not whereas I think Keane, Scholes maybe, Scholes definitely, but who's now out of favour. He was part of
Working
coaching and is out of favour with that. They are after having a nice life and
virality.
Yeah, fair enough. That's what you got to do, and an easy way to do that is to get the more people to watch your podcast with Paddy McGuinness. And the way to get people to watch is by having outrageous opinions one way or the other.
He is clickbaiting, I suppose, just the same way all football YouTubers do. He's not above that, which I think he should be as a legend of the club.
You'd hope.
So yeah, I have no time for Scholes' opinions, and I think people should stop paying them any heed, really. The fact that he thinks United are bad under Carrick, there does seem to be a little bit of anti-Carrick sentiment from some of that United team. I don't really know why. I don't know if they've got some previously held beef. We know what Michael Carrick's wife once said about Roy Keane. And Roy Keane's a man to hold a grudge. So all right, I get where that's come from, even if it's petty and childish. But I don't know what Scholes' problem would be.
No, but I think it is the sort of Goldbridgian United. It's bad for business if United are boring and reasonably good.
Yeah, yeah.
And Carrick is boring and reasonably good. So, you
got to find things to say about it. Or might as well slag them off and say they've been crap for the last few weeks.
But we've said that we've had poor performances. It's just the tone with which you do it. And
It's like you're calling the manager out who you played alongside for several years and saying, actually, this guy's not very good.
And obviously, I think we have a much less impact on, and certain people should be more mindful of their impact and the fact that their voice carries weight, which ours doesn't. We are very aware of. We're very careful with our words for people who have such limited weight, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas
probably.
some people with much weight, much more impact, should be more cautious.
Yeah, but Scholes' podcast probably gets double the listening figures as ours.
Yeah.
So
optimistically,
he does have a lot. He should think a lot more about what he says about the club, probably. But I don't think he's got any interest in doing that.
No. We'd have him on.
We would have him on, yeah.
Yeah. After Kieran, we'll get Paul Scholes on.
Yeah. Might be a bit dry. Kieran's full of energy.
Yeah.
We need someone. Either of us capable of playing the Paddy McGuinness role.
I thought you were going to say are either of us capable of playing the bagpipes or something. Just to add a bit
Jazz it up a bit.
Add a bit of intrigue.
I would rather listen to an hour of bagpipes, I think, than an hour of Paul Scholes talking about football.
Yeah, the good, the bad, and the bagpipes.
Yeah. Well, that's enough said about him, I think.
Yes.
It was a FA Cup weekend.
It was.
Not much to write home about.
No, most of the games went the way you'd expect, I think.
Yeah, Arsenal went through.
Liverpool went through. City
Chelsea went through.
But some interesting games in there.
Yeah, Port Vale beating Sunderland.
Yeah. I think the Rooney said that the Chelsea Wrexham game was the best game he's seen in years.
Oh, right. I didn't see it, but I heard it was a good game.
He was there, and I think he said in terms of the atmosphere, the occasion.
Yeah.
It was, it was a good game. It was a bit of a
great advert for the cup.
Yeah,
you might say.
Some people would say that a red card and a goal being disallowed, both by VAR, is not a great advert.
No.
But then, as in many of our conversations about VAR, a disallowed goal being allowed to stand and a red card being missed are also bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the manner in which these decisions are arrived at. The right decision was reached, but it's
not always worth it.
Did you see the Garnacho goal? Sort of ghost goal?
Yeah, it was weird. It just sort of came straight back out of the net.
Net didn't move, no noise. None of the players really reacted because they couldn't tell what had happened.
Yeah, I've seen a couple where the away fans seem to not notice that the goal's gone in for quite a while.
Yeah.
But that one, just watching it on the telly, it doesn't even look like it's gone in the net. But surely it's the opposite of a ghost goal.
Yes, a ghost goal is a goal that doesn't go in, but is given.
Counted as a goal. So not quite the opposite, because that would be it went in, but the ref didn't give it.
Yeah.
Like the Lampard one.
Yeah. But an odd one.
Yeah, yeah. Arsenal and City both still in the cup.
Yeah. And still in everything else.
They're still in, Champions League midweek quarterfinals, and they're in the League Cup final. They've still got to play each other. One of them almost certainly will win the league. And now this time of year is when the quad question always comes up.
Yeah.
But I like Arsenal are being rumoured, being talked about. Could they actually do it? Obviously they can't do it, right? I'm not going mad. Obviously no one can do that. I mean, in theory they could, but it's not unheard of that they're still in these 3 competitions. They got to the League Cup final, which is quite easy for them.
Yeah.
They've won a couple of games in the FA Cup, but they've still got a lot of teams to beat. They've never won the Champions League in their history, and they might win the league, but that's not even guaranteed. So they could still win nothing.
Yeah, there's every chance. I think we saw it in Klopp's last season. They won the League Cup.
Yeah.
Trent tweeted a picture with the trophy with the word with the caption 1 out of 4, and then ended the season with 1 out of 4. But fans. Well, I don't even know if it is fans. I don't think many fans would
media
mention
hype machine.
Yeah, the media would always be the driver of this. I presume it happened under Fergie a lot of the time.
Yeah,
certainly
I imagine
once
so.
we'd won the treble.
Yeah.
Can they go one better?
Every time we won the League Cup, surely that question would be asked.
Yeah. But it's different. It's not just the next level up from the treble, because the League Cup is sort of the
easiest one.
Yeah, the thing about the treble was 3 games in a week and a half and win all 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not always true with the league. The
could
league
win
is
it early.
its own achievement, but to have all of that culminate in the same time and to get through all of it with all of the trophies is the big thing. The League Cup is sort of secondary, but the pressure of the 3rd game of that week, when you've already won the other 3, would be more than the pressure when you haven't won the other 3.
Yeah.
But, it's the Champions League final. It's always going to be the biggest game of your career.
Yeah.
So I think it's too difficult to do. If any team was going to do it, I don't know if this Arsenal team would do it.
But yeah, it makes sense that the team that is favourites for the Premier League will also be the favourites for the Champions League. The best team in Europe is going to be the favourite for all the competitions that they're in. Doesn't mean they're going to actually win them all. And City now are in the running to win all 4 as well, when they could very easily not win any of them.
Yeah, it's media sort of hype, I think.
Yeah.
That's inevitable. But I think it is beyond the reach of all teams, certainly beyond the reach of this Arsenal team.
Yeah, there's neither of those. Arsenal aren't the kind of super team that we've seen before.
No.
That you genuinely believe could win all 4.
Yeah,
I don't believe they could.
No. When there's questions of do they have the bottle to even just win the league, to then win the league and the other 3 as well, is you would hope beyond them.
Yeah. Champions League comes back properly this week.
Yeah.
It's always annoying when the Champions League latter stages are on, and it's basically the pinnacle of football.
Yeah.
And United are never in them. United haven't been in the Champions League quarterfinals. Did we get in it once under Ollie?
Yeah, but we beat Paris. We got to the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Is that the last time?
I think so.
Because that was the first time for 6 years.
Yeah, I think that's
then.
probably it.
No, even longer than that, I think. No, that was 2019, and the time before that was under Moyes, 2014. So yeah, we went 5 years without it, and that felt like an age.
And now we've got another 5.
It's another 7.
Yeah.
It is always hard, and I'd like to think we can get back there again, but I'll mainly be rooting against Arsenal. I think that would be my angle for the Champions League.
Against all the English teams.
Yeah. No, let's not be biased. There's a lot of them to root against. 5 out of the 8 teams still in it
Yeah,
are
crazy.
English, which is ridiculous. Is
Isn't
that
all
right?
6 of them?
All
I
6.
think Villa are still in it.
Newcastle is still in it. Not Villa. Newcastle.
Yeah. No, Villa in the Europa League.
That can't be right. They were 6 out of
City-
8.
City. No, 16.
Oh, there's 16 teams in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, quarterfinals. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're not the quarterfinals.
No,
Must
it's
be the
around
last
16.
No, because there's 16 teams in it. That's the round of 16. But I thought the round of 16 was the extra playoff one.
No. So there's 24 teams in the league. 8 through.
No, it's 32 teams in the league, isn't
Yes. 8 through. 16 in the playoff.
it? Okay.
8 go out.
So 8 go
Then-
through, and then there's 16 teams still in it.
So there are 16 teams in the playoff round, and then
Yes.
there's also 16 teams in
That's
the round
not.
of 16.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was thinking it's not the round of 32, but it's also not the round of 16.
No, it's the second round of 16.
Right. Okay. So it's not the Champions League quarterfinals. It's the Champions League last 16,
Yes.
which we have been in more recently.
No.
We went out of the group stage a good few times.
Yeah.
I think we did get to the last 16 under Ollie / Rangnick.
Yes, we did against.
We got
Atletico
against
Madrid.
Atletico, yeah. That was painful. We
Yeah.
played really well in the
Alanga
away
hit
game
the
and got a
post.
1-1 draw, and then
Alanga scored.
Langa scored in the away game,
Yeah.
yeah. And then they went 1-0 up and just
Were Atletico Madrid.
yeah, they did what they do best.
But it'll be an interesting round of fixtures. Diego Simeone has attempted to play the we're the underdog card, and there are some things in his favour. Tottenham finished fourth in the group stage and are the fifth most profitable, or the fifth highest revenue club in the world.
Yeah.
But they're dreadful.
They're really,
and
really
Atletico
bad.
Madrid aren't dreadful, so I don't think they are the underdog.
No, but
in
it
this
just
tie.
that just suits them. He must tell his players that in every single
Yeah.
game.
Or it's
Elche.
Elche away.
With
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, I don't know. It's no disrespect to
No.
Elche.
I very nearly said leche, which means milk.
It does, yeah.
So
But there is an Italian team called Lecce, Lecce.
that doesn't mean
It doesn't mean milk. Latte is Italian for milk.
Yeah. So they aren't really the underdogs, but you'd expect them to get through.
You
Atletico
would
Madrid,
expect them to
Tottenham
get
are
through.
awful.
I don't expect Spurs to beat anyone they're playing at the
No.
minute. Arsenal have got Leverkusen. Arsenal are on the more favourable half of the draw, which has prompted people to say they should be getting to the
Yeah.
final, really.
Yeah, I
With
mean,
the teams against
if you
them.
look at the teams against them, it's Tottenham, Atletico are on their side, but then it's Sporting,
Bayern Munich
Bodo.
are on their team, on their side as well, I think.
No, Bayern Munich are in City's side.
Really?
Yeah.
So
None of the last 10 years, 10 winners are on that half of the draw.
Oh, right. Okay. So is Newcastle Barcelona on the same side as
Yes.
Arsenal? Because Barcelona haven't won it
Yeah.
for quite a long time. I
You
don't really
expect
know.
Barcelona to go through.
Yeah, you expect Barcelona to beat Newcastle.
Yeah.
They're a decent side, Barcelona. They're top of the league in Spain, and Newcastle are 12th in the Premier League. So.
Yeah. Arsenal Leverkusen's an interesting one. I think Arsenal will be really,
Yeah, they
they'll
could.
just win it quite
They
easily.
could put them to the sword.
It's not quite the Leverkusen of Xavi Alonso.
No,
It's
definitely not.
a different proposition.
City, Real Madrid, I just can't believe how often they play Real Madrid. We never play Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Partly because we're not in the Champions League very often, certainly not in the last stages. But
Yeah.
City play Real Madrid all the time. They play them as much as they play Premier League teams,
Yeah.
nearly.
It's a weird one.
I'm sorry, it's the point of the expanded Champions League format was so the big teams play each other more often, but no one needs to say City, Real Madrid any more often
No.
than they already do.
The head of the European Club Association, which isn't called the European Club Association anymore. I think it's called European Football Clubs now.
Oh, right.
He said at the Financial Times Business of Sport conference this week, he said the reason we like Christmas is because it's not every Tuesday, and that just having more big games with more big teams does not make football better.
Yeah, and more goals doesn't mean better football generally.
No, it doesn't. No, I think that's one of the issues of the expanded Champions League format. Is it used to be the groups were seeded so that you got there were big games, but at the end of the season you maybe got one or two big games in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
But now, if the Champions League format is a failure, if you don't have at least two big games every game week,
Yeah.
and that's exhausting, and
It
it
is.
really waters down the quality of the
Yeah.
product.
I say you've already played Real Madrid once this season.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. I think City will probably go through that.
yeah.
Real Madrid aren't a great side at the minute. They're good. They've got a lot of good players, but they're not having a brilliant season by their standards.
No,
So I think City will be within the form they're in. I think City will go through.
yeah, and then who's the other English team? Liverpool have a game.
We should know this. Liverpool have been drawn against one of the other teams still in the competition,
Yeah, certainly, that is the truth.
and they'll be playing two legs to determine who's going through. It's not Bayern Munich. Someone worse. It's not Sporting.
No, I'm going to check. Is it Italian side? Atalanta?
Inter.
Napoli?
I think it's that.
Napoli went out. Who
Yeah.
didn't go out? Benfica? No, they did go out.
Are Inter still in it?
Maybe.
We should know this.
I'm going to check.
I think Atalanta are still in it, but I don't know if they've got Liverpool. I think Liverpool have Inter. That's my final guess. Not done our research here. They got Galatasaray. Let's have the full lineup.
Galatasaray against Liverpool, Tottenham, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, Leverkusen, Sporting, Bodo, Bodo Glimt, sorry. Newcastle, Barcelona, Atlanta, Bayern, PSG, Chelsea, and Real Madrid City.
Right. So Inter aren't still in it.
No,
Got
they're
that one
not.
wrong.
Atalanta are the only Italian team left.
PSG, Chelsea, I think should be a close one. They seem to play each other a fair bit, but not for a while. Chelsea are a bit of a weird team at the minute.
Yeah.
And PSG aren't nearly as good as they were last season.
But they weren't as good as they were in the second half of last season in the first half of last season.
That's true. They might just get back to that level again.
And also, it's often levelled at the English. One of the reasons the English teams don't win the Champions League as often as they probably should, given how dominant look at the group stage this year.
Yeah.
Is that all the major European players have much easier run-ins.
Yeah, they can afford to focus on the Champions League.
And also their FAs are a lot kinder to them. PSG didn't play this weekend. They were just given the weekend off because they've got a big Champions League game.
Yeah, or they'll often be like put on the Friday night, so they've got the most time to prepare for it and stuff.
And also they can rest 8 players because
they'll
PSG
still beat
the French league and they'll beat a lot of the teams that they play. So
I don't think Guingamp are currently in Ligue 1.
No, I don't think so. I think they're in Ligue 2. But it's a factor of the European leagues that their FAs are often kinder. But because of the dominance of English teams, the number of English teams in Europe, they can't be preferential. So it's a lot tougher.
Yeah, I feel like I've got different reasons to root against all of the Premier League teams. Chelsea, generally out of those teams, would be the one. Like if it was Liverpool, Newcastle, Spurs, Chelsea, City, and Arsenal going for the Premier League title. Yeah. A 6-horse race, which is rare. I would probably pick Chelsea to win it. Yeah.
It's actually not that rare in horse racing.
No.
It's rare in
football.
When change media.
Chelsea in the Champions League, if they win it, they've got as many Champions Leagues as us.
Yeah.
They won their first one in 2012.
Yeah.
Chelsea, compared to Man United, the clubs are not on the same level stature-wise. And
they're much more efficient.
They've caught us up. They've very nearly caught us up on Champions Leagues, which says a lot about how few we won under Fergie.
Yeah, and how good we've been since 2012.
Yeah, like Chelsea were far from the best team in Europe in 2012. They were the 6th best team in England.
Yeah,
and they weren't the best team in Europe in 2021 either.
City were.
And somehow they've managed to get those two, and we've only ever won it when we've been the best team in Europe.
Yeah,
but there's so many seasons under Fergie where even just one more,
Yeah.
But I can't believe Chelsea are only one behind us when they only started winning them in the last 15 years. 44 years after we won our first one.
But yes, I hope they all go out. Tottenham, obviously, it might be better in terms of them getting relegated narrative if they stay in the Champions League.
Yeah. It would also be hilarious if they got relegated and won the Champions League.
Yes, but I don't want that to happen.
No, I don't want Spurs to win the Champions
rather
League.
they stay
It's painful enough that they won the Europa League.
Yeah, they would rather go down and win the Champions League than stay up, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it looks like a bit of it's more of a fluke to go down.
Yeah.
So I think I'm keen for Spurs to go out.
Yeah.
Maybe go through another round and lose some more league games.
Yeah. Really enjoying seeing Spurs in such dire straits and with still a very real possibility of going down.
Yeah.
Only getting more real.
Yeah.
With West Ham and Forest both picking up points in midweek and Spurs losing. And they were losing to Crystal Palace at home. Van der Ven's now suspended for 3 games. They're really they're in a they shouldn't have any special treatment of how we consider them as relegation candidates. Like they just are.
No, they're well
by any metric.
Because it's usually that you think, oh well, no, I think their quality will tell and they'll probably pull away. But in terms of quality, are they that far ahead of Nottingham Forest?
I think if you probably not Forest. No, if you assess the players on paper, there are there's probably a handful of Spurs players
between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, there's a handful of Spurs players who would get into all 3 of those teams, but they're not.
It's not far and away.
No, they don't look like a European, like they should be in the Champions League when you look at that squad.
It's one of the best centre half prospects in Europe this season is Luka Vuskovic, who is playing at Hoffenheim, who is on loan from Spurs and is having an amazing season, and everyone loves him.
Yeah,
and they've got such problems at centre half,
Yeah,
but they just didn't see either of them coming.
No, and like Romero's just going to be coming back from suspension after he got a 4-game ban against us, and now Van der Ven's out. So they very much could go down, and I will be.
3-game ban? His dog's out. Is that not a 1-game ban?
Yeah, maybe, but he's at least suspended.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And I think what's happened is they upset the balance of the universe by winning the Europa
trophy.
League.
Yeah.
Spurs, that's not allowed, even though it had only been 18 years.
Yeah.
Or 17 years it had been, which is some teams go a lot longer than that. Spurs just got to this point where that's not what they do.
Yeah.
So God knows what would happen if they then won the Champions League. All hell would break loose.
Probably fold as a club.
Yeah. So I would love to see them go down, and I genuinely believe that they could.
Yeah, which is weird that we're talking about them in the context of maybe they'll win the Champions League.
Yeah. So yeah, my main concern is rooting for Arsenal and City not to win the quad.
Yeah.
But then within that, I don't want either of them to win the Champions League. One of them has to win the League Cup and one of them has to win the league, sadly.
Yes.
But
there's still a decent enough chance that neither of them will win the FA Cup.
Yeah.
There's still a few decent teams in there.
Yeah, they are in the quarterfinals now.
Yeah.
I don't want Liverpool to win it either, though.
No.
So we'll probably have to root for Chelsea in that one. Leeds are still in it, and Port Vale. But obviously, Port Vale aren't going to win it.
No.
Southampton maybe. But I'll probably have to go for. I don't want Leeds to win it. I'll have to root for Chelsea in the FA Cup, which I don't enjoy.
When was the last winner not in the
Premier League?
It's not in our lifetimes.
Yeah, it might be in our lifetimes. Wigan won it in 2013 and went down in the same season. 2008, which I could rant on about for a while, we went out in the quarterfinals 1-0 at home to Portsmouth because Thomas Kuszczak got sent off and gave away a penalty. Rio Ferdinand had to go in net. And the last four for those semi-finals, it's Portsmouth, Cardiff, Millwall and some other crap team. And it should have been our second treble. It's so obvious that's what should have happened.
Yeah. We did the hard bit. We won the league at the Champions League.
Yeah. With that, we could have easily beaten those teams. But Portsmouth went on to win it. And maybe West Brom were the other team in the semi-finals. But I think Portsmouth were in the Premier League at that time. So, I don't know who was, to be honest.
Hang on. The last team outside the top flight was West Ham in 1980. So
okay, they're well out of my lifetime anyway.
And the semi-finals in the 2008 Champions League, FA Cup were Portsmouth, West Bromwich Albion, and Barnsley, Cardiff. And the final of Portsmouth against Cardiff finished 1-0 to Portsmouth.
I really feel like we would have won the cup if we'd have gone through that. Portsmouth home in the quarterfinals, and then West Brom and Cardiff. I just feel like we would have won that.
Yeah, and that was the Saturday before the Champions League final on the Wednesday.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it might have rotated a bit, but I would have backed them to do it.
I would have. But, we can't get bogged down.
No. We should have won more Champions Leagues. I'm more concerned about that than the one FA Cup we didn't win. Yeah,
so it'll be an interesting round, the Champions League this time. Hopefully we get some good hate watches out of it.
Yeah, I just think it's very unlikely that the worst case scenario doesn't happen in any of the competitions. So I feel like Arsenal, Liverpool or City may well win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Or maybe Arsenal will win Arsenal will win the treble. Or something bad will happen.
Yeah, we had a good run of the worst case scenario not happening, and then the worst case scenario did happen in 2023.
City winning the treble, yeah. It really was.
So now that that's happened, I'm like, it would make it less special if someone else did it, but
oh no, we have to do it twice to make City's treble less special. We have to win another treble.
It would make it our treble even less special if there was a third treble.
Oh, right. It would also make City's treble less special.
It would, yeah. That's not what I want. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But if the other alternative is if it happened too often, then it becomes a debate about the
best treble,
the dominance of English football ruining Europe.
Yeah.
Just as City winning 4 in a row. When United won 3 in a row, it was at the time when the league was really competitive and we did really amazingly to win 3 in a row. City winning the 4 in a row is an indictment on how poor the league is.
Absolutely.
If another English team wins the treble, it's because English teams are too much better than the rest of Europe. Whereas in the 90s, that wasn't the case.
No.
You know, in the 90s, it was really hard to win a treble. In the modern day, the English football has ruined European football to the point where trebles are 10 a penny.
Yeah, but other teams win the treble all the time. I suppose that's
Not
all the time.
All the time. Barcelona have got one.
I don't know. I don't mean any specific team wins the treble all the time. I just mean trebles around Europe are relatively common. Bayern Munich did it 2013. Did they do it again in 20?
I think they did it on the flick as well.
Yeah,
they're more
PSG
common.
did it last season. Barcelona did it 2016.
It still remains an achievement.
Yeah. And that probably says more about the standard of those countries' leagues.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yes, yeah. I'll be keeping a close eye on it.
And it's especially when we've done so poorly in our attempts in these competitions this season. The least you could do is, it would be nice if we could root for United to stop these things from happening, as opposed to just rooting for them to
the
not
universe
happen
to
anyway.
stop them from happening. Yeah, it's nice to be somewhat in control of it.
If we'd gone out of if we got to the semi-finals of the League Cup and been beaten by a good side, you think, well, we tried our best to stop someone else winning it.
Yeah.
Whereas to go out to in the first round of Grimsby, it's like, well, we just gave up.
Yeah, we've only got ourselves to blame if one of these things does happen.
Yeah.
Like we stopped Liverpool winning the treble in the 70s.
Yeah.
By beating them in the cup final. We don't have the option
Yeah.
to, and we could have stopped City winning the treble by beating them in the cup final.
Yeah,
we didn't take that opportunity. So
when the people of this world come to, revise the David De Gea's departure from this club,
when they write the history books,
his performance in that game, it will forever haunt me.
Yeah,
in that we definitely didn't help ourselves. We wouldn't play great, but
City are a very good
two
team.
stupid goals, and they beat us 2-0.
Yeah, concede after 13 seconds. Anyway, I was talking to a City fan the other day who was at the game and missed both of City's goals. One was just after the kick-off, and one was just after half-time.
Yeah.
He'd missed both of them.
Well, that's some solace.
Yeah. When we went to Wembley to watch the FA Cup semi-final, the first time we went to Wembley, I really thought it would be much better organised than Old Trafford. Because at Old Trafford, it is physically impossible to go to the toilet and get a drink and drink it within
And
the
not
space
miss
of
any of the
half-time.
football.
Yeah. I really thought it would be easier at Wembley. But the toilets were even worse. It's a purpose-built stadium that was like 10 years old when we were there.
Yeah.
What's your excuse? It was even harder. You could barely go to the toilet on its own in the space of half-time.
No. Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm often, we talk about doing our part to stop the worst from happening.
Yeah.
When Liverpool were going for the league in the season, the 13-14 season.
Yes.
I remember after they'd battered us at Old Trafford and we'd chanted 20 times Man United for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I remember someone saying on the way out is, if Liverpool do win this league, we have handed them 6 points without any resistance, and it was entirely, we could have easily have, because it was going to be close either way, and it could have easily been the win against us or the goal difference against us that had tipped them over the line, and thankfully it didn't prove to be in the end.
Yeah, City won it instead because of Gerrard, and the circumstances of Liverpool not winning that league are very funny, and I can still enjoy that as much as I would enjoy.
Yeah. I remember that being the sort of the ultimate Jose masterclass that day.
Yeah.
Because Liverpool needed a draw. Liverpool didn't even need to win. If they drew, it was still in their hands.
Yeah.
But Mourinho had got into their head so much about how they weren't going to win this game and how Chelsea got this game plan that was going to beat them.
And also, Chelsea applied for special permission to play a rotated side because they had a Champions League semi-final and they were given it.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, well, Liverpool are obviously going to win this game.
Yeah. But Jose absolutely
stank the
destroyed
place
them.
out.
And because then what happens is Gerrard, after slipping, Gerrard then plays awfully because he's desperate to try and redeem himself.
Yeah, he's shooting from
Liverpool
40
were
yards.
desperate to try and win the game, even though a draw would have been fine. They should have just regrouped and got out of there.
Yeah.
But they just lost their heads entirely, and the whole thing went. And then a week later, they drew to Crystal Palace. And it was
from
over.
3-0 up. Their heads had clearly gone from the Chelsea game,
Yeah.
and they hadn't got them back yet.
So, that does always... It reminds me of that sentiment of, if we can't win it, at least we can do is stop someone we hate winning it.
Yeah. And the thing with that Gerrard thing, this will always be one of my favourite moments in football. The way Chelsea were playing, they needed a mistake from Liverpool, which they got very much. And clearly Mourinho maybe was in Gerrard's head. But you can tell the reason he slips is because he's opening his body up, letting the ball run across, so he can play one of his stupid Hollywood passes. If he just took a touch and laid it off, would have been fine. But he's got.
Was he playing centre half?
He was in the sort of quarterback role that he used to play.
Nice.
Spraying passes left, right, and centre
of his career.
Yeah. I've talked about some harrowing moments of United, so it's fun to talk about Gerrard slipping.
It's good to, it's never that far away.
No.
Bringing it up.
No. Quick word on the Villa game. It's a big opportunity for United to get back on track. Villa,
absolutely.
Villa was on goal difference and in really poor form.
Yeah. A win here does wonders for. It's a massive win if we can get it to sort of banish the hoodoo of the defeat of Villa, which was really poor, to get back on track after a loss, and to show that we can fix our problems, and the coaching staff can prove that they can fix the problems in the team.
Yeah,
they've got to do it.
Yeah, and to then Villa have just lost 4-1 against Chelsea. It could have been more. If we then beat them as well, we'll be 3 points above them. We'll be firmly in third, and it will then be hard to see all three of those teams, especially Villa, then getting above us.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we win this game, it really reinforces our position and puts a marker down to say we are ready to get Champions League.
Yeah. We're both going.
We are.
Should be a nice one.
Yes.
Hopefully a bit of sun.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And should be. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hopefully a win. It needs to be a win, really.
Yeah. We're not in the form where we're still in the form where we're looking forward to going.
Yes,
to Old Trafford.
absolutely. Yeah, we're a long way off that.
We've not. Carrick's won all of his games at Old Trafford.
Yes, yeah.
So it's important that we continue that.
Yes.
We spoke about Old Trafford being a fortress as being one of the things that any good United team should aim for. And it's been true of poor United teams not poor, but not amazing United teams, that Old Trafford remained a hard place to come to.
Yeah.
Ten Hag's first season, we weren't incredible, but we had a great form at Old Trafford, and that got us where we needed to go that season.
Yeah.
This season, we've lost 2 home games, in the league, Arsenal and Everton.
Yeah.
It would be very good to finish the season with 2 home defeats. That would be
that'd be a very good record.
That
few too many draws, but
that does involve beating at Liverpool, who come in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But I think we've got every chance.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Looking at Carrick's fixtures when he came in, we have a lot of tough away games in there, and we've won 1 or 2 of them, Everton and Arsenal.
Yeah.
But looking at those fixtures, you would say we've got to win the home games.
Yeah.
The likes of Palace at home, Spurs at home, Fulham at home. We've won them all so far. We've got to keep that up, really.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It'll be a good one.
Yes. And we'll be back here.
It's too long. 11 days is too long without a game.
It is. And wait till
after a loss.
till the end of the month, and we've got international break followed by FA Cup
semi-finals, quarter-finals.
Yeah, semi-finals.
Yeah, shocking.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I think we don't play from like the 20th of March to the 7th of April or something.
Yeah,
it's a long time. It's 2 weekends in a row without a game, which.
And we have a lovely production update in that our next 2 home games after Villa are on Mondays, because of course they are.
Yes. I understand the reasons behind it with the TV schedule. It makes the Monday game a much more attractive proposition if United are in it, and they can do it because we're not in Europe.
Yeah.
But I'm sick of it.
17 home games we played in all competitions this season. 11 of them have had kickoffs after 8 p.m. Oh, no, after 5 p.m, I think.
Right. It's not great.
It's dreadful.
We've got Chelsea away at 8 o'clock on Saturday. Not this Saturday, but
Yeah, it's
that's so. I'm annoyed about that. Leeds and Brentford both being moved to Mondays.
just give
That
us
is
one
rubbish.
Saturday game at least.
Yeah, Saturday, United Brentford at home. That's obviously 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Please.
Yeah.
But-
Monday night.
Yeah.
So we'll have to push a couple
record a couple more on
recordings.
Tuesdays. But next Monday we will be here to talk about the Villa game. Hopefully another 3 points.
Yeah.
And anything else that we care to talk about.
Absolutely.
So thanks again for listening. Make sure you're following us on the old social media.
Mhm.
Thanks for your comments, Kieran, and anyone else who might have commented.
And Mike comments as well.
Yes, Mike, you comment as well. Thank you, both of you. We'll see you both soon. And for the rest of you, we'll see you out there.